What up, my dudes, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be making a delicious gluten-free fried chicken, but not any gluten-free fried chicken, Korean style fried chicken, complete with a sweet, spicy, savory sauce that is to die for. But before we get started, if you would like, comment, and subscribe to this video and let me know what you want me to cook next, it would really help me out. But without further ado, let's get cooking.
Okay, for our Korean fried chicken, we are going to need some chicken. I am using these thinly sliced chicken breasts today. Normally, I'd recommend chicken thighs for this. I think they have a better flavor, but this is all I had on hand. So we're going to get a bowl and add our chicken to it. Then we're going to grate 1 clove of garlic over our chicken to create our marinade. Then we're going to go ahead and make sure we get all that off of our microplaner. And just going to mention it now, we're going to want this to sit in our fridge for about 1 hour to 24 hours. Next, we're going to use 1 teaspoon each of salt and pepper. Then we're going to grate about a 1-inch small knob of ginger over this, like so. Next, we're going to add Japanese cooking wine called mirin. It's kind of a sweet cooking wine. This is going to add great flavor. And we're going to use 1 teaspoon approximately of this to 1 tablespoon. Next, we're going to use our gluten-free soy sauce, aka tamari. I'm using about a tablespoon of that for this. And then we're going to mix this all up together. Again, we want this to sit in our fridge for about 1 hour to 24 hours. I'm only going to do it for 1 hour because, hey, I'm hungry now. Next, we're going to just finger our chicken really awkwardly, and we're going to put it in the fridge. Today, for my batter, I am using potato starch. For your breading, you can use normal flour if you don't have celiacs or gluten intolerance. And if you can't find potato starch and try to make this gluten-free, you can always just use cornstarch. Use them in equal ratios that I'm doing here, which is 1 cup of potato starch. And then we're going to add our seasonings, so about half a tablespoon of salt. Just regular table salt's fine. A half tablespoon of ground black pepper. Fresh is better, but all I had was this on hand. A half tablespoon of smoked paprika, about a teaspoon of onion powder, just a little bit over a teaspoon of onion powder, half tablespoon of garlic powder, and then we're going to get our tiny whisk and whisk it all together. Should kind of look like this, kind of have a reddish tint to it. Next, we're going to make our sauces where we're going to get the majority of our flavor. I'm using gluten-free gochujang. This is the biggest tub of gluten-free gochujang I can find. We're going to use 1/4 cup of gochujang. Gochujang, say that 3 times fast. 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. Then we're going to use some more mirin cooking wine. We're going to use exactly 2 tablespoons of this. And then to this, we're going to add about 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. Again, I'm using gluten-free. If you don't have gluten intolerance, just use regular. That's fine too. Low sodium for the folks who are avoiding salt. Next, we're going to use some rice wine vinegar. Going to use exactly 2 tablespoons of this. And then show it off to the camera because you forgot to do it before. Next, we're going to use 1 tablespoon of honey. Yes, I'm using the bear. And then we're going to whisk this all together. And off screen, you're going to forget to record you adding 2 tablespoons of ketchup. And then you're going to add 2 tablespoons of water just to thin this out a little bit so it doesn't burn on the bottom. Next, we're going to put it on our stove. Whisk it together when it starts to bubble. Making sure to stir it quite frequently because we don't want the pepper flakes in our sauce to burn. Next, we're going to add Korean pepper flakes about halfway into our cook. We're cooking this for 5 minutes, so this is at the 2.5 minute mark. And then once it's done and we cut off the heat, we're going to grate in 3 garlic cloves, making sure to scrape all that goodness off the back of our microplaner. Give that garlic a good stir, and then show it off to the camera. Look at that delicious sauce as it gets out of focus. Sauce. Take your sauce and pour it into a mixing bowl like so. Make sure to use your comically undersized one for this, and then go ahead and taste your sauce to adjust it for seasonings. This was delicious for me, so I didn't bother to adjust it. The salt was correct. Next, we're going to add oil to a pan and get this heated up. I'm using canola oil, and then I'm going to chop up some green onions for garnish later. And we're just going to add those to our salsa bowl. Seriously, these salsa bowls are amazing. Like $1 at Walmart. Next, we're going to pat dry our chicken, and then we're going to add it to our flour dredge. I'm using this method I saw on YouTube. In retrospect, I did not really like this method when it came out. I think if I were to do this again, I would use a more traditional method where I would just take flour, dredge it in egg, and then dredge it back into flour to get more of a traditional crust on it. But hey, you live and you learn. This is why we do these experiments. Also, I would use like a thicker chicken breast, or better yet, some chicken thighs. But this actually did come out very well, and it gave me kind of a light, airy crust, if that makes sense. Kind of a breading to the chicken that you'll see in a little bit. Overall, delicious, great flavor. Just, I prefer more of a crispy fried chicken crust, kind of like a southern style. But to each their own. Anyway, let's move on. Once we're done doing the pat dry and dredging our chicken through the flour, we should end up with a couple slices of chicken. I ended up with 6. That's how many I had. And then we're going to test our oil to make sure it's hot enough. You can use a chopstick if it's bubbling and the oil is hot enough, or you can just use your oversized meat thermometer until it hits our target temperature of 350 degrees to 375. Then we're going to lay the chicken into the oil, making sure to drop it away from you so you don't splash yourself in hot oil. And we're going to turn it over halfway because I'm kind of just shallow frying this. And we're going to cook this for about 2 to 3 minutes until it's nice golden brown, and put it on a wire rack to dry off. And then we're going to double fry it again, making it the Korean method. And this is going to give us an even crispier breading. Now we're going to take our chicken, and we're going to use a spoon to try to dredge our chicken in our sauce before we give up and eventually just use our hands to submerge this thing like we should have in the first place. Giving it a nice glossy coat of our sauce, which we're going to cut up for the wifey and add some green onions and then some sesame seeds on top of a bowl of rice. She declined to have hers as a sandwich. Now let's go to the wife test. Okay, wifey test.
Wifey test.
All right, I made yours a rice bowl. Mine's going to be a sandwich.
Look how glazy it is. Ooh, look at that. Oh, that's good.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
First impressions.
Juicy. Mm-hmm.
Winner?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to go make my sandwich then. All right, I'm going to turn mine into a sandwich using some gluten-free bread. I'm going to add some hamburger pickles to this. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my fried chicken, which I've dredged in my sauce. Oh my god, look how good that looks. I'm adding some butter lettuce and a little bit of mayonnaise to my bread. Cupid mayonnaise would be better for this, but I only had regular, and it tasted just fine. Then I'm going to slice this bad boy in half to give you all a nice, beautiful cross-section. I mean, oh my god, look at this thing. How does that not look good to you? That's going to be delicious. Alright, let's head to me. Alright, so Elisa's already tested her bowl. I've made my sandwich. Looks absolutely delicious. I'm going to try a bite. Oh my god, that's good. Excuse me. That sauce, absolutely out of this world. It's sweet, it's spicy. Covers the chicken perfectly. It's a little sticky, a little messy, but it's good. Not too salty.
Not too sweet.
Not too sweet. Not too spicy. Perfect balance for the sandwich. Highly recommend everybody make this. This is out of this world. I'm going to go ahead and eat, so let's cut to future Marshall. That's good. Alright, that's going to wrap it up for today, guys. This was a delicious sandwich. I absolutely loved every single bite of it. That sauce is to die for. Only things I would tweak would be use a more traditional southern style instead of the style I use for coating your chicken. You know, a nice classic flour, egg, flour, or even a buttermilk dredge would probably be delicious for this recipe. That's going to do it for today. If you could comment what you want me to make next, it will really help me out because I'm out of ideas. If you could subscribe and like, that'd also be great. And until next time, toodles. Gotta get that sauce. Ow, it hurt my tongue. Ow.
How'd you hurt your tongue?
Yeah, I stretched my tongue too far. Ow.
Are you kidding me?
No, I did not.
Oh my god.